Hello friends, SentinalH here, and welcome back to our ChromatiCraft tutorial series. Apologies if my voice is a little weird today, I've been sick, but we're going to get through this and look at some more of the abilities. So in this episode we're going to go through a couple of abilities, 4 abilities. Down here we're ending the pylon casting section of abilities, and then later we'll be getting into these end game and elemental mastery ones. So the first one we're going to talk about is called Enhanced Transferrence, and if we read the book, it talks about having spent countless resources crafting the ultimate ranged weapon, being disappointed that effects like strength or looting couldn't be carried across a range attack. Alright, it also mentions automatically capturing enemy drops. So Enhanced Transferrence does 2 things. Going from that description, it allows enchantments that don't usually work on ranged attacks to function. The ones mentioned were looting and strength. So right here I have a bow. It's a shiny reinforced bow from thermal expansion. Apparently I have some odd mod confliction going on in this pack. I don't know what it is. It doesn't let me enchant certain ranged weapons, but it lets me enchant this one. So I've got looting 5 on this bow. If I use NEI, I can add another one. So we'll go in here and we'll add strength, because that was one of the other ones that was mentioned. If I can find it. I don't like that you can't slowly scan through this list. Nah, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. No, never mind. Anyway, we have looting on this bow. And so I'm going to spawn some spiders. And we're going to kill them. After I get rid of these spider drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll get like 6 spiders. And we can see that from those 6 spiders we got 6 eyes and 18 string, right? Well, if we toggle on Enhanced Transferrence, which is this one, we're going to get a lot more, because now looting will actually work. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, we won't have to pick up the items. As you saw there, did you see that? In my hotbar, you can see the mob drops teleporting into my inventory. Now you obviously have to have room in your inventory in order for this to work. But there we go. So out of 6 spiders, we got 32 string and 12 spider eyes. So looting 5, which is what I have on here, it worked. And as you saw, it teleported the items into my inventory, which is especially useful if you're in the Nether and you're farming ghasts, or blazes, or any sort of enemies that hover over pits and fly over gaps that you really can't get to. Because it just teleports their drops right into your inventory. So 2 very useful functions of Enhanced Transferrence. That's very cool. Alright, so that's that. Enhanced Transferrence. A very useful mod. I mean, ability. What am I talking about? Alright, so our next one that we're going to look at is called Lumen Dash. The description talks about how being surrounded by mobs is a bad thing, and some sort of dream about some guy named Cluix. Now, I don't know what this is referencing, so let me know in the comments. Okay, so combining time and movement-based energies to bolt out of danger, turning sprint into something more powerful. Lumen Dash is this one. And when you have it toggled on, sprinting does that. Like it teleports you a pretty far distance. Well, it's not really a teleport though, is it? It's like a super fast movement. which is really cool. Also because you can dash straight through enemies. So if you're being, I mean, you can always walk through enemies, but if you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies and you want to get away real quick, you can even dash. That was weird. I kind of dashed sideways. Oh. Ah. So if you're strafing in a direction, if you're strafing left or right, and you double tap forward, it'll dash you left or right. It'll dash you in the direction that you're traveling, even though the particles still just go straight. That's interesting. Let's see if I can turn myself while I'm dashing. Nope. So once you start dashing, you're dedicated to that. Oh no, actually you can. You can turn yourself while dashing too. So yeah, that's the Lumen Dash. It's a pretty straightforward ability. It lets you cover a big chunk of ground in an instant to get away from enemies, that sort of thing. I wonder if you could use it to like dash across a gap. You probably can. Like, you know how in like old FPSs like Doom, you couldn't jump, but you could like run across the gap. Ah, didn't quite make it. Let's go up a bit higher. Ah, see, I made it. So you can kind of do stuff like that. Just be careful with it if you mess up and accidentally dash into lava or something. But there we go. That's the Lumen Dash. It's a straightforward ability. Probably pretty useful in certain situations. There we go. That's that one. So I can then turn that off. It also makes a really funny little sound. It reminds me of like a whistle or a train thing or something. I don't know. I'm sick. What do you want? My thought like died on the vine. Next we have this one called Genetic Insight. So Genetic Insight is all about bees. So if you don't use bees at all, it probably won't interest you. But if you do mess around with bees a lot, this ability is for you. Or if the reason you don't work with bees at all is because you find them too annoying, this mod ability could be for you. So by default, if I have this tropical queen here, it says unknown genome. I don't know what it's got in there. In order to find out, I'd have to put it through the bee analyzer or whatever, with like honeydew or something, and that's annoying. You don't want to have to do that. So if we go to the end of the tree, we can find this one, which is the bee ability, Genetic Insight. I already forgot what it was called. Of course, you need those 4 elements, lumen things, in order to use it. But now, when I hover over this bee, I got these options here. I can hold left shift to show the genes of this bee, and I can see everything. So it shows me all the information that I would need to know about this bee. Its species, its life, worker, speed, pollination, flower type, fertility, all this stuff. Very useful if you're messing around with bees. And if you hate bees, then this might not convince you to get back into to try out bees. But if you like bees, this is definitely for you. I remember working with bees, and I do also remember how annoying it was. Maybe with this enchantment, I would actually ability. Why do I keep saying like enchantment or mod? Maybe with this ability, I would actually mess with bees more. The final one that we're going to take a look at today is Lumen Flood. Be it a winding cave, a subterranean river, or just a very large overhang, the dark regions of your world have a tendency to fill with monsters. You could spam torches, or you could use a construct you created for the purpose, but neither of those are fast and their ranges are limited. Literally, flood filling the area with light will require another approach. So Lumen Flood, by that description, you can kind of figure out what it does. Now, apparently, this ability works best in caves, naturally generated dark areas. I tried using it in the little area under that mountain that we blasted out in a previous episode, it didn't work. So if I go in here, go to the end because Lumen Flood is right at the end. There we go. Oh, a little bit of lag there as it lit up the area. But as you can see, this cave is now lit up. Very, very cool. It looks like the way it works is that it places, like, it appears to be placing point lights at various spots in this area in order to light it up, but that's what it seems to be doing. But of course I shouldn't assume how it works. Now obviously this ability is going to require a lot of power. This is not a weak ability that you're using. Let's go into the craft mode and we'll see what it needs. Yeah, the total energy required for this is 125,000 lumens, mostly Nilla, but also a little bit of, I think that's Ikri and Ruskia. So yeah, 125,000 lumens is not a small amount of power. I think it's actually, well no, Genetic Insight is actually more expensive at 150. Lumen Dash is only 17, Transference is 70, Breadcrumb is 80. So it is one of the more expensive ones. If I look at all the ones we've talked about so far, 75,000 for health boost, 70,000 for peace broker, 14 for fireballs. Yeah. 35 for reach boost, 10 for magnetism. Even world shift's only 85,000. So Lumen Flood and Genetic Insight are the two most expensive abilities that we've talked about so far as their cost, total energy cost. So Lumen Flood's not cheap. You need a lot of Nilla. So make sure you have access to a lot of that if you want to get after your Lumen Flood. Now, I mean that's how much it costs to get it, I think, isn't it? The amount that unless it uses the same amount to give it to you in the table that it does when you cast it. At any rate, you're going to need a lot of Nilla in order to use it. I'm going to get myself some Lumen Energy, and then we're going to see how much we need in order to actually cast this in survival. Alright, so I've gotten myself a pretty sizable amount of Lumen Energy. My cap right now is 4,330. It's mostly Nilla, along with Ruskia and Ikri, the ones that we need. So now, we're going to go in here. I'm in a cave now, a new one that I found, Dark Cave. We're going to go ahead and cast Lumen Flood, or at least attempt to cast Lumen Flood. I forgot that I could just skip to the end. There we go. Okay. So it doesn't actually take a whole lot of power. But see, look, we've cast it like 3 times now, and we have drained a very sizable amount of our Nilla. So what it's going to do for you is it's going to light up a sizable chunk of the cave that you're in. And it would appear that it stays lit forever. It does use up a sizable amount, so I'm running low on Nilla now. Let's see if we can find another dark spot in this cave. We'll see if it'll let us cast it one more time. No, it looks like it lit it up pretty thoroughly. There's a little bit of darkness over here, but no, it's not. So yeah, that's going to be it for this. So yeah, Lumen Flood, it's a good ability, definitely. If I was going to, like, you can compare it to the Subterranean Illuminator, because they essentially do the same thing. The Illuminator being a placeable block, the Flood being a toggleable ability. They both light up a cave. One takes a sizable amount of time, and one is instantaneous. Okay? So, you know, you can decide for yourself whether you think that you want the Lumen Flood, but if you're going exploring and looking for new caves, and you find one, hitting it with Lumen Flood to get you light right away, I can definitely see the appeal. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm sorry that I'm sick, so my voice probably sounds trash. The video for tomorrow was recorded before I got sick, so I don't sound terrible in that one. Anyway, like and comment the video if you enjoyed it. Join our Discord if you're interested. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.